How's it going, guys? Hank here, back at it again with another video on the Review and Preview Sports YouTube channel. And folks, as always, I want to give you a friendly neighborhood reminder. Please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like, give us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear from all you guys. And in this video, I will be breaking down the rosters of the MLB All Star Game. So to start things off, let's go with the starting lineups for the American League. So when it comes down to the American League, I think the one guy that we pretty much knew was never a doubt to be going to the All Star Game was number 99, Aaron Judge. He is leading the league with 30 home runs, and he's tied for third with RBIs with 65, fourth OPS 980. And fun fact, he and Giancarlo Stanton will be the first Yankees to start an All-Star game in the outfield together since Dave Winfield and Ricky Henderson in 1988. So, and they are two of six players of the Yankees that'll be there. And of course, filling out the third outfield spot is Mike Trout, who is going to be appearing in his 9th straight All-Star game, which, fun fact, is the longest among all the players. And obviously, as far as the other Angel, he would obviously be joined by his Angels teammate, Shohei Ohtani, who for the second year in a row made it there as a pitcher and a hitter. And this year, Ohtani's been posting some solid numbers. He's got a 2.44 ERA and, of course, has 19 home runs. And, of course, if you remember last year, he was the winning pitcher of the All-Star game in Denver, Colorado. And now, and the only other team that has multiple starters in the lineup is, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays. They've got Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk. Alejandro Kirk is actually the only starter in the lineup that is making his first All-Star appearance, and he's leading catchers in batting average for 310, and he's got 10 home runs, 33 RBIs, decent numbers. And for Vlad Guerrero Jr., makes sense that he's back again. He is the reigning MVP of the Midsummer Classic. And of course, he is coming off a solid year himself and fresh off a year where he had a historic season. So not very surprising here. And for the rest of the lineup, you pretty much have Jose Altuve at second base. Not a doubt there. Third base, you got Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. At shortstop, Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox. And yeah, as far as players go, I think the fans definitely got this voting right. And now let's go over to the National League, where obviously you're going to have a lot of Dodgers in that starting lineup, which is very fitting since this game will be played at Dodger Stadium. And this is actually the only National League team that has multiple players in the lineup with Mookie Betts and Trey Turner, and is a 6th straight game for Mookie Betts, second with LA, and Turner is making it again, this time as a Dodger, whereas last year was as a National. And then the leading vote getter for the NL guys was Ronald Acuna Jr., who he missed a good amount of time, but he still rebounded nicely. He's batting .274 with 8 home runs and 57 hits, but he is the first player to lead the All-Star voting in consecutive years since Albert Pujols of the St. Louis Cardinals, another fun fact. Now, the one change in the lineup, obviously, the DH was supposed to be Bryce Harper, but unfortunately, due to a fractured thumb, he cannot play. But his replacement makes history, as William Contreras is going to be replacing him at DH. And this means that him and his brother Wilson of the Chicago Cubs are going to be the first brothers to appear in the same All-Star game since the Boones, and the first ones in the same starting lineup since the Alomars in the 90s. And as far as first base goes, you got Paul Goldschmidt making his first All-Star appearance with the Cardinals. He's leading the league in batting average with 340. Got his .424 on-base percentage, .610 slugging, and 1.034 OPS. And he's leading the MLB in hits. Definitely a good choice at first base. And Jazz Chisholm, another first-year All-Star. He's the only one in the National League. And fun fact, first ever All-Star from the Bahamas. He's got a 139 OPS, leading the NL second baseman in home runs. Also got 45 RBIs and 12 stolen bases. And pretty much as far as the rest of the lineup goes, you've got Manny Machado starting at third, and Jock Peterson as the other outfielder. Again, another solid choice of voting by the fans. And let's go over some of the pitchers. So in the AL, you got Justin Verlander, who is leading the majors with 11 wins, and he has a 2.00 ERA. It's such an amazing comeback season for him after missing the last year and a half with Tommy John. Ninth career All-Star game. He's tied with Clayton Kershaw for the most among active pitchers. And joining him, you've got the AL ERA leader, Shane McClanahan of the Tampa Bay Rays, 1.73 with 141 Ks. And I mentioned that there were 6 Yankees. 3 of them are pitchers. You got Garrett Cole, second straight All-Star, and then obviously Nasty Nestor, 7-3, 2.74 ERA, 95 strikeouts. And you got Clay Holmes, who has had an incredible comeback after a year with Pittsburgh. His ERA is at an unreal 0.46, and he's had 16 saves. And personally, I'm hoping this guy is the permanent closer. And as far as the rest of the pitchers go, you got Paul Blackburn of the A's, Manuel Clace of the Guardians, Jorge Lopez of the Orioles, Alek Manoah from the Blue Jays, and Martin Perez of the Rangers, Gregory Soto for the Tigers, and Framber Valdez for the Houston Astros. Now let's go over some of the NL pitchers. I mentioned Clayton Kershaw is also a 9-time All-Star, and he's going to be back, of course, for the National League. But the guy to really look out for, well, there's a few actually. Sandy Alcantara, the ace of the Miami Marlins, 9-3 with a 1.73 ERA, 111 strikeouts, and he has been leading the MLB in 130 innings pitched. And he has been an absolute horse from the Miami Marlins. And of course, you also have reigning Cy Young winner Corbin Burns on that staff, and he's got a 2.20 ERA, 134 strikeouts. And joining them, Max Fried and Tony Gonsolin, 1.62 ERA. He's tied with Verlander for the most wins. He's 11-0 as far as the rest of the pitchers go. You got David Bednar of the Pirates. You got Louis Castillo being the lone representative for the Cincinnati Reds. Edwin Diaz, who's had a really good year closing games for the New York Mets. Josh Hader, another good closer for the Brewers. Ryan Helsey, the Cardinals. Joe Mantiply, and Joe Musgrove. So those are pretty much all the pitchers. And let's talk about some of the reserves. The last Yankee that I did not mention yet, catcher Jose Trevino. He has been a godsend behind the plate. One of the better framing catchers in baseball. And for me, thankfully, a major upgrade over Gary Sanchez. And he has saved the Yankees from a lot of runs defensively. So definitely a good choice here. And I'm glad to see him make it. And for the NL, the other catcher that's there is Travis d'Arnaud, who obviously is coming off a World Series win with the Atlanta Braves. Got a 2.67 batting average, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. Another good pitch framer right there. And then as far as infielders go, now I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. So there were 2 special selections made by Rob Manfred. Those are Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. And personally, while I'm glad to see them in the All-Star game, I don't really like the idea of having the commissioner selecting 2 guys. I think those guys should have gotten in by the fans, and that probably would have been the case anyways. But this is just a little nitpick, and maybe it could be me taking another shot at Rob Manfred. But nonetheless, it's great to see Miggy Cabrera and Albert Pujols there. But back to the infielders. For the AL, you've got Luis Arias, who is heading 348, and Andres Jimenez is having a solid year for the Indians, or Guardians rather. Sorry, still getting used to the name change. Jose Ramirez leading the league with doubles. He was another early MVP candidate, and of course, they got Xander Bogaerts of the Boston Red Sox. And let's go over to the National League with the infielders. You've got Albert Pujols, as I mentioned. He is in his 11th All-Star game in what will be his final one. Him and Cabrera are 2 of the 3 major league leaders in hits, home runs, and doubles. Only 2 guys that have 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, 600 doubles are Miggy Cabrera, Albert Pujols, and Hank Aaron. Incredible company to be in. And then you got Nolan Arenado with the St. Louis Cardinals, CJ Cron for the Rockies, Pete Alonso, who's having a solid year for the New York Mets, Jeff McNeil, and Dansby Swanson. Now, if there's one guy on the Atlanta Braves who I think probably got snubbed, it's Austin Riley, who's hitting at like 238 or 283 rather, 23 home runs. Definitely something that the fans got wrong there. But let's look at let's go over the outfielders. The American League, you've got Julio Rodriguez being the one rookie All-Star and the youngest All-Star too at that. He's 21 years old. Most likely going to be the rookie of the year. He's only the fifth Mariners rookie in franchise history and the first since Ichiro. And as far as the other All-Stars, you got Andrew Benintendi, who I would love for the Yankees to try to get, hitting at 340. Byron Buxton, Kyle Tucker, and then George Springer, who is making his first All-Star appearance with Toronto Blue Jays. And for the National League, you've got Starling Marte making his first appearance since 2016. That was when he was with the Pirates. Kyle Schwarber will be making another appearance. And you also have Juan Soto, who is probably the youngest on the NL squad. And strangely enough, he might not even be having the best numbers on the Nationals. But I'll get into a bit of some snubs a bit later. And at DH, of course, another guy that made the All-Star team for the American League is Yordan Alvarez. 306 batting average, 26 home runs, and 60 RBIs. And he's got a 653 slugging percentage. Great year, definitely. And as far as guys who I think probably should have made it, and I hate talking about this because like it kind of distracts from like the guys who did make it and are worthy. Ty France definitely could have made it. He's got a 306 batting average, 10 homers, 45 RBIs for the Mariners, but obviously he was not going to beat Vlad Guerrero, and I think he definitely should have gotten some more consideration. You could maybe make the case for Anthony Rizzo despite the low batting average, but 22 home runs and 54 RBIs are still solid right there. And then you got Kevin Gossman, 286 ERA, 100 strikeouts. Very underrated pitcher. Too bad he didn't make it. And I feel like Robbie Ray probably would have made it if he didn't get off to that tough start. But he has bounced back with a 0.91 ERA in his last 6 starts. And I guess you could also make the case for Michael King, who's been one of the more valuable relief pitchers on the Yankees. And as far as the NL goes, I mentioned Austin Riley, who's hitting 283, 23 home runs, 56 RBIs. Could also make the case for Freddie Freeman, who has been having a consistently good year. He's hitting 304 with 11 home runs, 54 RBIs. And then if there's any national that should have made it, probably Josh Bell, 304 batting average, 19 doubles, 2 triples, 12 home runs, 47 RBIs. And then you go to the pitching department. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler have been 2 workhorses for the Phillies. I would have thought they'd get a lot more recognition. Same with Carlos Rodon, who has been a solid pickup for the San Francisco Giants. 2.70 ERA. He's leading the league in FIP with 2.13. He's only got 32 walks in 100 innings, but unfortunately, a lot of players were going to get left out. But nonetheless, I think this was a good group of All-Stars this season, and it'll be interesting to see how the All-Star game plays out in LA, California. And that's pretty much all I have to cover for the All-Star game. Folks, as always, friendly neighborhood reminder, please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like, give us a comment. What were your thoughts? Do you think the voters got it right for the All-Star starters? Who do you think should have been in? Do you think there's anybody that they left out? I would love to interact with you guys in the comments, but until next time, I'm Hank and Dichter, and I'll see you guys later.